game time. Not gonna lie, I was nervous. Striker always made this kind of stuff look so easy, but putting together a team, especially one with limited members, was no mean feat. And when I saw the opponents we'd been drawn against, my heart sank. Not just for the coaches we'd have to face, but the squads they'd managed to enlist. The team I'd selected was good on paper, but by some unfortunate happenstance, we'd been pitted against 3 teams with perfect answers to our main offense. It was unbelievable. And to cap it off, the first person we'd be up against was a multiple-time champion of the generation. It was hard to see a way out of this one. But for better or worse, we were in the trenches now. Only way forward was up and over. Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and welcome to my first battle of the OLR. Yes indeed, One Last Ride, the name of a tournament put together by OG Albina to sort of see off Scarlet and Violet. Thank you to my man Owen for inviting me to be a part of it. Very exciting stuff. I'm excited to use this team. 8-mon draft. You'll have seen there'll have been sort of a, loath to call it a team analysis, but video put up earlier with my team that I drafted. We then got drafted into different pools, and my god, my pool is difficult. We are starting off against A12 and the Arkham City Delibirds. His links down in the description below. Make sure you check them out along with everyone else involved in the tournament. Yeah, not going to be an easy one. A12, not someone I know personally, but I know him by reputation. The man has won, I think, 4 leagues this season that I know of, all with Hydrapple, I think. The man's a beast. And whilst I've drafted like Iron Valiant Ogerpon offense, he started out his draft with Glowking and Gliscor. And the Gliscor can Terra, just to make it more interesting, so that's fun. He's also got, as you can see, Iron Bundle, a Shifu Single Strike, Rotom-Wash, a Terra Trevenant, Hawlucha, and Magneton. So, not going to be an easy one to break this time. We are starting off with, oh my goodness, it's Life Orb mixed Iron Valiant. Who could have seen it coming? We've got speed on there to outrun, I want to say, the Shifu. Maybe a maxed out Gliscor, something like that. It's Moonblast, Aura Sphere, Knockoff, and Vacuum Wave. It's Life Orb. It's 9 Valiant. It be what it do. It's mixed offensive. Shocker. Next up, we have a speedy Colberberry Metagross, Psychic Fangs, Knockoff, Ice Punch, and Stealth Rock. Nice to have rocks up there. Limited, if any, removal on a 12 side outside of like default Hawlucha, which I don't see coming to this one. Metagross here just to try and get some nice chip damage. I've never used Metagross before, so I'm excited to give it a go. Also excited to try and get some redemption with Ogerpon Teal Mask. We are rocking a Choice Scarf here. We can Terra to get a speed boost and run Scarf. I'm anticipating either the Lucha or the Unbundle to be Scarfed. So we have Ivy Cudgel, Knockoff, Play Rough, and U-Turn on there to try and deal as much damage as possible to as many things as possible. Then we have Citrus Berry, Bulk Up, Grimmsnarl here. Mixed defensive, still adamant nature. Crunch, Spirit Break, and Drain Punch going to be the move of choice there. Hoping we can stick around and do a lot of damage, get some bulk ups going. Try and, you know, tank special hits with our massive special defense investment from the likes of that bundle and the Rotom. Things like that. Get some health back with Drain Punch on the likes of the Shifu and the Magneton if that decides to show. Then we have a potential win con in the form of Unburden, Weakness Policy, Driftblim, another one I've never used before. Mixed offensive again with Shadow Ball, Acrobatics, Destiny Bond, and Endure. We can hopefully endure up on something like the Rotom, the Bundle, the Shifu. Any number of things can do big, super effective damage. Get a Weakness Policy, get the Unburden, start hitting things with Shadow Ball and Acrobatics, and if there's something we can't kill, we can try and go 1-for-1 by Destiny Bonding it. And the final member of the team is going to be Lapras. Very mixed defensive here. We've got investment all over the place, everywhere except speed. We've got Freeze Dry, Earthquake, Alluring Voice, and Psychic Noise. Mostly a check to the Iron Bundle with Water Absorb, but we also have the Rocky Helmet in case they see that coming and want to go for U-turns to try and get initiative on me. We can at least try and punish that. So, that is the team I'm going into this match with. Let's go over to the battle screen and see what Ace 12 have decided to bring against us. So, as you can see, A12 have decided to bring Trevenant, which is Terra Ghost, Glowking, Gliscor, which is Terra Poison, Rotom-Wash, Hawlucha, and Urshifu. Now, I don't quite know what I was cooking with this team, but there is a Glowking with T-Spikes, and I did not bring my Poison type with removal, or my Ground type that is immune to T-Spikes, so that might be a problem. Either way, we are just going to lead off with Choice Scarf Ogerpon, get that Terra off as soon as possible, make sure we're outspeeding literally everything we possibly can, and pretty much just go from there. I'm kind of anticipating the Glowking to lead, but there's not a lot I can do about it, because I didn't build this team very well. Anyway, let's get into the battle, see how things go. So, here we go, OLR Battle 1 against A12 and the Arkham City Delibirds. There he is, he is going to be leading off with Shock Horror, Itch the Glowking. Who could have seen it coming? So, I'm going to lead with my Ogerpon. I don't really want to stay in and go for the knockoff. There's every chance that it's Colbert and then I'll be locked in and he can just do nasty things like Sludge Bomb, like Chilly Reception, all of that stuff. So what I'm going to do is just Terra off Rip and go for the U-turn, see if we can kind of scout out whether we're working with Fizz Def or Spidef. Either way, it is going to be my best play. There's nothing I can do about the Toxic Spikes going up, because I don't have Taunt, I wouldn't want to go for it anyway against the Poison type, I don't have my Grounded Poison, I don't have my Removal, and I don't have my Landorus Therian. So yeah, not great. I don't really know why I didn't prep for this at all. I kind of went into it thinking that could be a problem, and then did nothing about it. So, we get our Terra off with Ogerpon. We are just going to go for that big old U-turn, nice and neutral damage, and it does very little indeed. Looking be quite a physically defensive Glowking. We don't see any Rocky Helmet, so chances are we're looking at Colbur Berry. Either way, the only thing I realistically want to switch into here is my my Metagross. It's looking a bit too early to try and activate Drifblim, and there's no guarantee that this mon is going to be carrying a coverage move to hit it super effectively anyway. So it's going to be the Metagross that comes in. I'm hoping, given that this looks to be very physically defensive, that even if it's packing like Fire Blast, I should be able to take a hit if that's what he wants to go for. So, in is going to come the Metagross, and it is Toxic Spikes. Who could have seen it coming? I did, and I did nothing to try and prevent it whatsoever. So, this is already a very bad situation. Those T-Spikes are there to stay, and they're going to affect everything. Because not only did I not bring anything to counteract Cloaking, I didn't bring anything with Heavy Duty Boots either. Bit of a problem. Silly move on my part. But I am just going to go for the knockoff here. Nothing overly wants to lose its item. You know, something like a Gliscor might be a good switch in, but it doesn't want to lose a Toxic Orb if that is what it's packing. And anything Scarfed doesn't want to come in on this all that much either. I don't think the Urshifu wants to take that damage. It could be Rotom. Realistically, if this is Colbur, he's going to stay in and Chilly Reception on out of there. And again, nothing I can really do to prevent that. So I may as well go for knockoff and try and get rid of an item. If he's not Colbur, so much the better. So we go for knockoff, and would you believe it, it's the Colbur Berry. That still does a nice little chunk. He's going to come back in around about the 85% mark, because there indeed is the Chilly Reception. And now he can go into something to directly threaten Metagross, which is pretty much just about everything. This could be a chance to get Gliscor activated with the Toxic Orb. It could be into the Urshifu to directly threaten, or it could be a nice mid-ground play into the likes of the Rotom. And it is none of those things. It's going to be the Trevenant, who comes in and finds my Colbur Berry with Frisk. Now, oddly enough, Terra Ghost Trevenant is actually kind of a threat. I only have one resistance to Ghost. This is kind of what I was cooking up with Drifblim, noting that A12 doesn't have a multitude of resistance to Ghost on his side either. What I'm going to do though is just go for the knockoff. If I can get rid of another item, that would be absolutely grand. Now, Metagross is naturally quite tanky. If this is more of a tanky build of Trevenant, then we should be okay, and then he opts to Terra. I was really anticipating him wanting to go for Terra Poison on the Gliscor, but he is just going to raw Terra Ghost on the Trevenant. That is a little bit of a worry, but as long as we can get a knockoff onto it, we should be in a decent position, and then he just straight up outspeeds and goes for the Terra Ghost Poltergeist. That is going to come in onto my Metagross, and that is going to completely and utterly one-shot me. I was a little bit flummoxed. There is any kind of world in which Metagross can live that hit, but this is looking actually to be a very offensive tree. In fact, I was under the impression he might even be choice banded. I should have been thinking, because I have decent speed on my Metagross, which means he's got a lot of speed on this Trevenant. And if he thought that I might be outspeeding with Metagross, I don't know if he'd want to take the big damage. So this is kind of actually telegraphing that this is a Scarfed tree. However, I'm very much under the impression one way or other that he is choiced, and he's not going to want to stay in against a Grimmsnarl, so that's what's going to come in, take the poison damage. In hindsight, if I'd been running Boots on Grimmsnarl, this would be a very favourable position. Either way, it's not. But I don't think he's going to want to stay in here, and this is my chance to try and set up. So I'm going to stay in, go for Bulk Up, and see what A12's answer to Grimmsnarl immediately is going to be. Now, Trevenant does not want to stay in here, very understandably. He is going to get on out of there, and he is going to go into the Gliscor, which makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go for Bulk Up. Quite happy about this, in a good position. He's obviously going to get his Toxic Orb activated, but this Grimmsnarl is at +1 attack, +1 defense, and if this thing is packing Toxic, he's not going to be able to whittle me down as quickly as the single layer of T-Spikes are going to. So what I want to do now is just gauge the set we're working with on Gliscor by just going for Crunch and maybe fishing for a defense drop. Now the Gliscor is going to stay in and go for Knockoff. That is a bit unfortunate. It's not going to do any damage, but there goes my Citrus Berry. That's a problem. My only recovery is now in the form of Drain Punch. Now Crunch is going to do a good amount of damage, but nowhere near enough. Like, it's still looking to be a 4-hit KO from this range. So what I'm now going to do here is switch things up and go for Spirit Break. I'm showing my hand a little bit, but if he wants to get cheeky and go into like the Urshifu very offensively on another Crunch to try and maybe get some more U-turn chip or go for Poison Jab to whittle me down, we'll be able to catch him. As it is, the Gliscor is just going to go for Stealth Rocks, noting that they're there to stay because I have no form of hazard removal. We're just going to go for the Spirit Break, and as you see, going to do a little bit less than the Crunch did, get a huge special attack drop, massive, monumental. And he's going to get his Poison Heal back. Now, I can't take him out from this range with a Crunch, so I was kind of wondering, am I going to go for a Bulk Up? Am I just going to go for Crunch? Is he going to protect? In the end, I do decide to just stay in and go for the attack, not go for the Bulk Up, just in case he wants to use this Gliscor to chunk me down, knowing that he can take another hit. And he is going to go for Protect. Let me tell you, I was so close to going for Bulk Up on that turn. Unfortunately, I do just stay in and attack with the Crunch, and that is going to whittle me down even further with Toxic, and of course the Toxic Heal, or Poison Heal I should say, is going to just heal the Gliscor. At this point, things are looking rough because, of course, I'm below half but don't have a Citrus Berry. But it doesn't seem like he's going to be going for another Protect, so I am just going to stay in and attack with Crunch. I also don't think he's going to want to switch out here. So I am just going to hit that Crunch button and see if we can't chunk this thing down, at least into a revengeable range. So, it's going to be dual Wing Beat. That is going to do precious little damage to Grimmsnarl, thankfully. We're going to be able to go for a nice big Crunch, and as you see, doing around about 40-ish% to the Gliscor. But after the next turn, if he wants to protect, he's going to be back up to around half. What I'm going to do here is try and get in ahead of that. Save my Grimmsnarl, which he could very easily protect and let my Grimmsnarl go down. I want to try and save Grimmsnarl for fodder. I am already basically 6-4 down, having done very little damage to A12's team. He's only shown 3 Mons so far. So, I'm going to try and get in ahead of the game, save Tony Valier to sack for another time, and try and predict the Protect, go into something to directly threaten. So, Grimmsnarl is called back, and I am going to make the play into my Drifblim. It's going to take the Rocks damage, but that's okay. As we'll see, the Gliscor is going to just go for that Protect. So, we at least got a prediction right that helps us a little bit in the long run. But the Gliscor is back up to around about 50%. What I could do here is just go for a bit of damage with Shadow Ball. I have some special attack investment. What I'm going to do instead is just go for the Endure. Maybe a little bit premature to do this, you know, Drifblim likes to be unburdened, so there's every chance that I'm just going to try and live a knockoff, get my unburden, and try and do some damage in the early to mid game. But either way, it is the play I'm going to make here, go for the Endure, and just kind of hope to see the knockoff. But A12 was not born yesterday. He's smarter than the average bear by a decent chunk. He is just going to go into the Rotom-Wash here as I go for the Endure, and this very much shows my hand, unfortunately. He is going to know from that I have some kind of unburdened shenanigans going on. However, if this is a bulky Rotom, there is every chance that Drifblim's natural massive bulk will allow it to live any given hit. So I'm going to go for Shadow Ball here and try, to get a bit of damage onto the Rotom and hope that he just wants to go for Volt Switch or T-Bolt, but we can live, get the weakness policy and start doing a bit of damage. So in comes the Shadow Ball. We do outspeed. That is going to do 30-25%. But no. Again, A12 is very much smarter than the average bear. He sees this set coming 17 light years away and is just going to go for the Thunder Wave. That is pretty much going to neuter my my Drifblim, unfortunately. So now all I need to use Drifblim for is to try and get some damage. I am going to go for the Endure. We are going to get paralyzed. Bit of a problem. It is going to be the Volt Switch that comes in, and that is going to activate our weakness policy, which is nice. It's going to activate our Unburden, which is nice. We're paralyzed, so it doesn't matter. And the Rotom is just going to get on out of there, and A12 can go into basically anything he wants that isn't called Gloking and kill me. Now it is going to be the Urshifu that comes in. So now I basically have to pray that he's running no speed and is super bulky on the special side, so acrobatics will do more. I'm dead to rocks. I'm paralyzed. There is no sense to be saving Drifblim now. I believe I actually go for the Destiny Bond here, just in case, on the very off chance we do outpace, because acrobatics won't take out Urshifu. It's doing about 50%, especially if he's got some bulk. Either way, it doesn't matter. Ice Punch is going to come in, and that is going to take out my Drifblim. So, the battle hasn't started amazingly, I'll be honest. At this point, it has to be Iron Valiant that comes in, and realistically, I have to start making some plays. Even if this thing is a Choice Scarf variant, it won't be killing with Ice Punch, and Moonblast will decimate it. If he is something like a bulky Assault Vest Trailblaze set, we will outspeed and kill with Moonblast even through an Assault Vest, maybe even through a Roselli Berry. So I'm pretty much under the impression he is not staying in here, and he has a very, very safe switch into the Gloking that he can make into Iron Valiant all day, every day, especially now that I'm poisoned. So Urshifu is going to get on out of there, and as you see, it is going to be that Gloking that comes in, but the regen has taken it up to about 90%. He's lost his item. Knockoff does a respectable amount, but not enough to really threaten the two-shot. So unfortunately, Iron Valiant is not going to be able to break through this Slowking at the present time. What this gives me an opportunity to do is sack off my Grimmsnarl. I kind of have to do this to get any kind of initiative into this game. We're going to be 6-3 down, but I do have some credible threats still left and some decent bulk in the form of Lapras. So, you know, it's not looking amazing, but never say never. You know, this game is not over, and I'm pretty sure A12 is going to be thinking along the same lines. He is going to get on out of there to get his regen back, and he is going to go back into his Gliscor as I actually just go for a secondary knockoff. That is going to get rid of the Toxicor, but of course it's already activated, so it doesn't matter. Now this is the point where the sack play can come in with Grimmsnarl. Lux Maxing is at just about half of its health. I could try and go for the Moonblast, but realistically there's every chance that a Gliscor even at that range could live, especially since I'm a mixed attacker. So here is the point where we're going to have to sack off Big Tony Valia. Got a bit ahead of myself there. Played this game quite a while ago, so forgot my turn order, but it's okay. We're back on track with the sacking of Grimmsnarl. Little bit unfortunate. Really wish I'd been Boots. Down goes Grimmsnarl. It did a decent attempt at taking on Gliscor. What A12 is going to do is actually get on out of there himself and go into his Gloking. So Gloking is once again back at about 90%, and yeah, this is not a great day to be me. So I'm going to have to go into my last mon to be revealed. That is going to be my Lapras, which at one point was Boots, but I decided to go Rocky Helmet for the U-turning bundle that didn't show up. Bit of a problem. However, Lapras has good coverage across A12's team. and what I'm hoping I can do with it is use it to just get chip damage across a number of things. We can hit pretty much everything for super effective damage outside of the Trevenant, which is now Terrored. Outside of that, we can do a decent chunk to a number of things. Now, the Glow King is going to stay in and take this Earthquake. It's actually going to do quite a lot of damage because it's a crit. Good job, Lapras. You've probably done more than anyone else in this game. He is going to go for the Chilly Reception, which is kind of fun, actually. We've got this Glow King down to a range where it might be able to be dealt with by Ogerpon or Iron Val. And he's actually given us a defense boost in the snow, which is super nice as well, especially given that we can tank a hit from a defensive Rotom. And stuff like the Hawlucha and Urshifu, with that defense boost, there's every chance we might be able to take even a fighting type hit. And that might have to be tested, because it's going to be the Urshifu that comes in. Now, we do have Alluring Voice for this guy. I am going to stay in here and try and rely on Lapras's natural tankiness and that snow to maybe take a hit. We have Alluring Voice for just this scenario, and if things go our way, we might actually be able to get a kill here. But A12, again, smart player. He is going to scout out the Lapras. He's going to go for the U-turn, get some Rocky Helmet chip, just in case there was a chance that we might have been, for example, Chople, and with the snow boost, we would certainly have lived that potential close combat or Drain Punch. He's going to U-turn out there and go into the Glow King, as we do indeed go for the Alluring Voice, which is going to do nothing to the Glow King. Get another crit, because, I don't know, this is like Super Luck Lapras or something. Lapras, however, is being worn down, and I'm rather thinking he is just going to pivot around to get his Glow King back up to a really nice amount of regen health for my last two Mons. So while I could go for Earthquake, Freeze Dry is looking to be slightly better of a play in case he wants to get cheeky, go into the Rotom on the Earthquake, something like that. He is going to withdraw the bundle, and it's going to be the Urshifu. Unfortunate, we didn't quite get that one right. We are going to get a little bit of Freeze Dry chip onto said Urshifu, which puts it at a very nice amount of health to be revenged by either one of my last two Mons, but unfortunately, Could Be a Boat has pretty much run its race here. There's very little more I can do with Lapras. It's done a decent attempt at chipping things down. It's got some nice chip onto this Urshifu, for example, and now, if it is bulky to be able to take a hit from full from the likes of Valiant, it certainly won't be able to anymore. So it's Brick Break that actually comes in here, just in case I was running screens on the Urshifu, I guess. Unfortunately, Lapras is going to go down here, and right about now, we are looking at 6 versus 1.5. Ogerpon is Scarfed. It is not going to be a win con in this game. I have not got anywhere near enough damage onto the Gliscor, the Glow King, or the Hawlucha that has not hit the field yet. So realistically, what I have to do is go into Ogerpon, try and do as much damage as possible to as many things as possible, and then try and get as many kills as possible with Iron Valiant to bring the differential down. I'm not saying the game is over, but it's getting there. So in is going to come my Ogerpon, and it's going to take the Toxic Spikes, and it's going to take a little bit from those Stealth Rocks as well. Now, this Urshifu is not staying in. Absolutely. I don't see any case for it to be staying in. When A12 is in such a commanding position, and could potentially even try and save differential to a 6-0, there is every chance that he could do that just to be as dominant as possible in this tournament, and fair play to him for making that attempt if that's what he chooses to do. With that in mind, I'm actually here going to try and go for a coverage move, because realistically, it's not going to be staying in with Urshifu, so Knockoff is probably my best play in case he wants to go into the Glow King. And as you'll see, that is what's going to happen. He's going to get out of there with Urshifu, and it is going to be the Glow King that comes in. Now, Knockoff here is always going to be the play, to try and keep this in a range where Iron Valiant might be able to deal with it afterwards. There's no sense in trying to get a win with Ogerpon here. It's not going to happen. The best thing I can do with Ogerpon right now is keep spamming Knockoff into this Glow King and try and get it at a range where it won't be able to regen off enough health to deal with Valiant without losing a bunch of Mons in the process. So, in comes that secondary Knockoff, and that is going to, for the first time ever, put a Mon into the red! Nice! Sludge Bomb is then going to put Ogerpon in range for the T-Spikes to finish it off. So another KO for Gloking there against us. Down goes our Ogerpon, and now it is 6v1, and that 1 is a half health, poisoned, Life Orb Iron Valiant. I'm going to go straight into it, because now it just comes down to, is he going to try and save differential, and can we at least get a kill? Just one. Now at this point, because I'm Life Orb, Moonblast should be taking out this thing from here, and it's going to be my best move to hit anything that might want to come in if he does want to save that differential. So I'm going to go for Moonblast and just hope we can take something from this game. The Gloking is going to be withdrawn, and it is going to be the only mon we haven't seen. Horlucha comes in. I'm like, please don't be Scarfed. Please don't be Scarfed. Sorry, please don't be Sash. It's not Sash! We got one! Ladies and gentlemen, we got one. I have never been so hyped in a league game for quite some time to just get a kill. Just anything. Just as long as it isn't a 6-0, we managed to take at least one mon from a 12. Unfortunately, we are at quite a low amount of health, and in comes the Trevenant. Now, there is every chance, if this thing is actually not Scarfed, there's every chance that Knockoff can kill. If it's a very offensive build, then it's a roll in our favour for Knockoff to kill, so that we might be able to take another one with us, except it is Scarfed. It's going to go for Terra Blast, and that's going to kill us. I'm just going to let that play out. Yeah. Down goes Iron Valiant. The last bastion of our hope is gone, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the game. So that didn't go well, I would say. It didn't entirely go very well at all. I don't really know what I was cooking with this. Like, Gloking is one of several opponents that you're going to see in this run of pool games that is very good into me and nullifies the entire point of my whole draft. So I knew it was going to be a problem, and I just literally didn't prep for it at all. Like, I was going into this game thinking Gloking with Toxic Spikes could be a problem, and I just didn't do anything to try and stop it. I didn't bring any heavy duty boots. I didn't bring my Landrush Therian. I didn't bring my Glamora. I don't know what I was cooking. I was cooking something. I'm not sure what it was. The dish was a failure. Gordon Ramsay would have been livid, quite frankly. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we fundamentally prepped poorly, and I don't think it really mattered if we played well or badly. We were just never going to be in a good position from the off because the T-Spikes lead messed me up, and I have to take all the blame. I did not build right for that team at all. However, I will take nothing away from A12. He is a very, very good player. I knew that going in as well. He drafted a very good team. He is an excellent player. And just some of the tech going on there. He had Scarf Lucha for the Ogerpon. We did have Scarf to outdo that. But Scarf Trevenant as well. Didn't see that coming. Great bring. He had like 3 ghost type attacks on there as well, with Terra Ghost. So major props genuinely to A12. Like I say, he is someone I don't know personally, but I know him by reputation. I'm very, very happy to have got a chance to battle him. A12, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I didn't make it more competitive. Hopefully there'll be a chance in the future for me to try and redeem myself in that light. But yeah, not a great start to our run in the OLR. We take a 5-0 loss, but we got 1 kill, and that's progress. So, yeah, make sure you check out A12. His link's down in the description. He posts excellent quality content. His battling is of the highest caliber around. So, yeah, you'll learn something and you'll enjoy yourself doing so. Make sure you check him out. Next up, oh boy, next is going to be a good one. Next time, we are going to be facing someone we have faced before a couple of times, and I don't think he's going to be very happy with me, because it's Vepsis, who we've beaten twice, and it wasn't clean either time. So that's going to be a battle for the ages. Hopefully I can make it at least closer than this one was. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. On that note, I've rambled on far too long. So my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I will see you next time. Laters.